Alright, so I know I have been MIA for a long time, but your girl has been making some changes in her life, bossing up in that aspect. So I'm DeAndra Raileen, in case you forgot or in case you're new to my channel. Welcome back. And this week's video is going to be an update on my current job status. I have recently changed from a hospital position to an office position. So if you're interested in hearing the pros and the cons between the two, stay tuned for this video.
I don't wanna be
my last nursing 101 video, I did give a little bit of insight of kind of what was going on in the NICU as far as lateral violence, bullying, the whole shebang. But the number one top reason why I left that NICU is because it was a night shift position and I have kids and my babies are old enough now where they're noticing like, okay, I want my mommy home. I was sitting down talking to Jordan one day. That's my oldest. She'll be 5 in August. And she was just like, Mommy, I want you here at night. So I'm like, why, baby? What's wrong? And she's like, because I love you. So she doesn't really know how to express a lot of things, but that's just her way of like, okay, Mama, I need you here. And I just took that and put that above all. And I didn't want to work night shift anymore. That was number one. Number two is the lateral violence. I know I spoke on this before, but I'm just going ahead and say it again. It's very cliquish up there, and my boss is a firm believer in the buddy system, clearly. The girls in the cliques are closer with my boss, so she's listening to every single thing. She doesn't care what the other party has to say about it. Whatever they say, their word is bond at this point, and I was sick of it. So the girls were lying on me. They said I was sleeping. They said they were intimidated by me. They said that I was a bully, and they said all this because if I would hear something that they said about me, I would be like, hey, you know, did you say this? Is there any way, you know, we could sit down and talk? And if I make you uncomfortable with anything I'm doing, just let me know. They didn't like that. They took that as me being aggressive or me being this, me being that. No, that's me being a grown woman coming to you as another grown woman saying, hey, if you got a problem with me, tell me. But they didn't see it like that, and she felt like they were afraid of me. So I don't want to work in an environment where people who are supposed to watch my back whenever I'm not in a pod or something like that are constantly lying on me, because something could happen and it not be my fault, but they'll paint it out as I'm the cause of X, Y, and Z. So I just felt like, you know, I didn't want to work in that type of environment anymore. No, you didn't run me off, but I'm protecting you for one. I'm protecting my sanity, and I'm protecting my nursing license. I don't have to deal with you. You guys need nurses. Nurses don't need y'all. So at the end of the day, I can go anywhere and work with my license, and I wasn't finna jeopardize that. So number three, since everybody has been leaving the NICU, I think total now it's me and 15 or 16 other people that left within weeks of each other. So with everybody putting in their resignations, the scheduling was getting horrible. So we already work 3 days a week. You know, all nurses in a 12-hour, you know, hospital setting work 3 days a week. We were adding 2 call shifts within a 6-week period. So that means every other week I would have to pull 4 12-hour shifts a week. And you know, for every night shift you lose 2 days, because I'm sleeping the whole day of and the whole day after. My kids would have had 0 time with me, and that was not it. So I would schedule myself for days to kind of spread out those 2 extra call shifts that we had. But since scheduling was so bad, of course they weren't gonna, you know, go with what I was saying, because everybody had beef with me. But they really needed people, and they really needed a body. They don't care what you got going on. They don't care about your kids. They just need a body in that position. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. And it's like, I don't have to deal with that. I can always find another job. So that's what I did. Your girl went to an office. Alright, so my new job. Your girl is now a pediatric office registered nurse. I am the only registered nurse at my practice, which means a lot to me. It makes me feel like, you know, I'm kind of bossing up, working my way up the corporate ladder. Alright, so I'm the only RN at my practice. We have an LPN, have a CNA, and we're currently looking for an MA, and we have 2 physicians there now. So with me being the only RN, I am in charge of a lot of vital components that it takes to run a pediatric office, such as I'm in charge of vaccines, keeping track of the temperatures, monitoring all that. So when DHEC comes in to like screen us, I am the one to answer the DHEC. I'm in charge of ordering the vaccines, catching the nurse triage lines, which is not just nurse triage lines. We have nurse triage line, a lab line, refill, and immunization record line. And we have a wave laboratory. So initially I was in charge of the wave laboratory as well, but to kind of like get a little bit of the stuff off my plate, since the vaccine issue is so demanding and time consuming, we kind of gave that to the LPN. So she's kind of dealing with like the controls and keeping up with things in the lab now. So I'm very appreciative that that is off my plate, because I have enough on here. So a daily routine for me in the office, we open at 8. I would get there around 7:40 to kind of get things started up, like make sure everything is clean, get the lab started up, like with running controls on all our machines, getting the temperatures off the refrigerators, making sure the rooms are clean and stocked and ready to go for the day, and things like that. So then next I would kind of like look at the schedule and see, like, you know, what age ranges we have on there, what supplies we're going to need for those age ranges. For example, like 11 and 17-year-olds have to have cholesterol checks, so we would have to take those cassettes out of the refrigerator. I would do all of that because they have to be room temperature, and things like of that sort, just, you know, kind of preparing for today. So at 8 we open our doors. That's when patients begin to come in. So on our computer system we can kind of see who got there first and how long they've been there. So we like to keep our times within an hour. Like, we don't want anybody there longer than an hour. So we'll get the person that came in first come first serve, just like that, you know, work them up really quick. Working them up consists of getting vitals, seeing if the parents have any concerns. If the physician is seeing other patients at the time, you can go ahead and give your vaccines before he goes in to kind of expedite the process. And yeah, that's pretty much what goes into working up a patient. So the next part of my day, if I have time in between patients, if it's kind of like a slow time, I can go ahead and start responding to calls on the phones. I can like answer calls as they're coming in, or I can check the voice messages between the nurse lab, refill, and immunization lines. And that's how I would respond to that, see who I need to send what calls to. And also I would be able to check my jelly beans. Now we call it jelly beans, but it's just like kind of like an inbox thing where other people in the organization can send you stuff that you need to respond to, or you need to send to the doctor. Sometimes we get lab results on there, things of that sort, and just kind of like send those things where they need to go, or make calls to the families and let them know that the results have came in or something like that. So then we have a whole hour for lunch, thank God. So I mean, I don't know, I get to go take a nap, eat. They got a lot of good food places around there, and sometimes reps from healthcare supply companies would like bring us lunch or something like that. So that's kind of a good thing too. That's one of the pros of working in the office. A lot of times you get free food. Alright, so at the end of the day, you know, you have your afternoon amount of patients, and it's kind of like repetitive, the same thing. And at the end of the day, I would check my temperatures, make sure the rooms are clean if I have time, respond to my last little bit of emails or jelly beans, or if I have time, again, I will say I'm stressing that fact because a lot of times I don't have time to respond to the phone, but if I do, I will respond to those, and we'll kind of have a little powwow at the end of the day, which was the idea of our LPN, that she wanted to have like little powwows to talk about, you know, how the day went and what we can do better. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's like a good time. The staff is great. I would say all of us work well together. There is no cattiness, no cliquishness. We're all good communicators. I love that. That is very different from what I'm used to. Everybody's bubbly, everybody's happy, which you kind of have to be when you're working with kids. So I just feel like our personalities match, like we're a good fit for each other. So I have no complaints there. I love all my coworkers. And saying that, there are some difficult parts and some stressful parts of this job as well. The stress comes in when there is a lack of communication between me and my coworkers at some point, which usually happens at the end of the day because everybody's so caught up in doing their thing. We get a lot of sick visits during the afternoon, so that means we have to do blood draws, which are kind of difficult on our like 2-3-year-olds because it takes 2 people to do that. So with it only being 2 clinical people, in our practice, me and the LPN, it takes me and her to get labs usually from a venous stick. So that's hard because they don't have anybody to work up patients after that. So that means sometimes they have to wait, which result in longer wait times for our patients, or longer visit times I should say. So that's kind of hard. It kind of makes our physicians stress out a little bit, but I mean, it just comes with the territory. It's just something that has to be done. And a lot of times in those high stress situations, I will forget little stuff, which I can own that. Like with every well child visit from age, is it 6 months to 5 years, we give out books and handouts. I might forget a book or I might forget a handout, and it kind of stresses out one of my physicians in particular. But we're learning, we're trying to work with each other. It's been times where he's had to grab a book and wasn't happy about it, and I told him like, hey, I'm in here getting labs, sorry I didn't remember the book, but I worked up the patient and the important stuff is done. So that's just one of the cons of, you know, the day, but that's literally the hardest part of the job. Everything else is literally peaches and cream after that. Not to make it sound like it's too good to be true, but it kind of is. So in conclusion, which is better, hospital nursing or office nursing? Bedside or clinical? Office nursing, duh. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I didn't do this sooner, y'all. Like, okay, so office nursing allows me more time with my babies, more time with my friends, and more time with my family. Like, I don't know, there is no comparison to the people I love versus spending the night 3 nights a week with a bunch of people I hate. There is no question about it. I would choose my family every time. So that's number one. Pay is literally the exact same minus any overtime. So I'm not missing like a penny of my money when I work 3 regular 12s a week versus me working my 5/8s. Maybe it's just my office, but they pay me really well. And with night shift, you know, of course, if you pick up, you know, you have that call shift or you pick up extra days, then of course you're gonna get a little bit more money. But that it don't even really matter because I'm not trying to pick up any extra days. I'm trying to be home with my kids when I can. Like, I'm not interested. Maybe that's better for somebody, but it's not better for me, so it works out. Next, we get paid for holidays. Even though we don't work them, they'll still give us that 8 hours for that day. No differential or anything like that, but I mean, we get paid for not working, so that's a given. Like, who would not want that? So next, I would say an office offers a better work environment, faster pace, which makes the day go by faster. Who wouldn't want that? I don't want to sit down, twiddling my thumbs, not doing anything, and kind of dreading being there. You know what I'm saying? I really like my job. Like, it's sometimes, like on the weekend, I'm like, dang, I'm ready to go to work. I've never said that about the NICU. So I can go with that. The only con I will say, aside from like the stressful situation that I already explained, would have to be the insurance. The health insurance is terrible for me and 2 kids. So I could have cried, you know, when they told me that initially in the interview, but then it's like, as a mom, I just was like, okay, it's just time to put my big girl panties on and go out here and find an insurance that's right for me and my family. So at the hospital, I was getting like $126 taken out of each check for me and 2 kids for dental, health, and vision. No, that's not the case. Now I have to pay monthly to another company that I found. So that's the downsides. I have to come out of pocket, or maybe an extra $300, $400 a month for insurance for me and my girls. But I mean, you can't put a price on peace of mind. I'll take that over the stressfulness of the damn hospital. So but overall, the change is perfect for me and my lifestyle. I can spend time with my friends. I can spend time with my family. I'm going on vacations. I'm out here living. I'm out here seeing life in the short month that I have been there. Like, I really I really love my job. Like, I am just so happy. And when I say a girl finna be out here seeing and doing, I'm about to see the world. Like, legit see the world. I done got my money up. It's a good time in my life. Like I say, I can't complain about anything. And I'm happy. So if you're having even the slightest issue in the position that you're in, just think God has a plan for you. This is not end game. You do not have to stay in the hospital, and you do not have to stay where you're not appreciated. find your happiness, get there, and stay there. So that's all I can say about it. Of course, you know, I said I wanted to go back to grad school, but being in the position that I'm in with a company that's constantly growing, we are offered a raise every single year. I'm thinking about not even going back to grad school, maintaining my little charge nurse position, and just collecting my coins every year. So I mean, to each his own, but that's not final. I might change my mind next year, but I'm happy. I hope this video has helped y'all. I hope y'all go out here and find your happiness too. But if you have any questions or any comments, please feel free to leave them down below. And if you have insight on whether you think hospital nursing is better than office nursing, or if you agree with me, leave me a comment as well. So I'll see y'all in my next video. Good luck to everybody.